Okay. Versatile Vigilante, Young Vince, Uncle Vinny. We are on location, OCAD University, with the man, one of my favorite artists, Benji.
Yeah.
How are you, bro?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having us in OCAD. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
So for anyone that doesn't know, Benji met him at his own gallery, his own show a couple months back. This guy does amazing paintings, amazing artwork. Definitely had to check in and see what he's got going on. So, how's life, bro? Tell me, what have you been up to? What's been going on?
It's that third year at OCAD right now.
Third year.
Third year drawing, painting. It's like the program said, just a lot of drawing, a lot of painting. It's been busy. Yeah.
OCAD is an interesting thing because I've walked past it a million times. I've
Really.
always seen the pencil crayons outside, but never had actually been inside. And I always was curious about what it would be like to be a student at OCAD. How have
Yeah.
you enjoyed your 3 years so far?
It's definitely been challenging to navigate my ways around. Not particularly as like a student in itself, but like a student in the art world, right?
Right.
Yeah. It's
What do you
been,
mean by that? Because that's a whole different game. Being a student in like math is cool, but being a student in
yeah.
art is completely different. How's that been?
Honestly, you're not very cool.
Not very cool.
Yeah. Well, let's say, you know, people regard you like separately as an artist after you graduate versus, like a student. You're treated pretty much completely different before and after that degree. So,
Kind of like, do you maybe feel a bit like you're on the outside?
partially, but you also find community within OCAD itself and amongst other students as well. It's just not within the, like high art like realm or like
Society.
galleries. Not really. Yeah, I guess you put it that way. Yeah.
I get that, man, because I was just thinking, getting what as we were getting set up here, like, man, coming here every day, working with other artists, that's got to be pretty cool. Where you can maybe bounce ideas off each other, get inspiration from each other.
100% that aspect. Usually, I don't share studios with a lot of people. Or I tend to just work by myself, enjoy that like lone company.
Right.
Tend to better for me to focus on my own stuff. But yeah, there's people around the school I just love talking to, about art and stuff, sharing ideas, expanding my own. It's great.
Definitely, man. Very inspiring feel. I like that a lot. So, your third year of OCAD, how long have you actually been painting for?
Painting officially. I did watercolor a bit in high school, but I didn't actually pick up like acrylic or oil until university, like first year. Yeah.
Okay.
So 2.5 years ago, three maybe.
And were you doing other types of art before you were doing painting?
Yeah, 100%. I was doing a lot more drawing based stuff, like illustrative, inks, watercolors, pencils,
Okay.
but
So
not
you're
like painting. Yeah.
you're always like an artistic kid.
Yeah.
Love that, man. I always find that so cool because as a kid, I was never very good at like drawing and this and that. But the kids that were always really good at it, I thought was such a great talent to have and super cool.
Really.
Did you always think you'd want to go in down this path of exploring the artist life?
I think at the end of high school, yeah, 100%, right? Just figuring out what options are and then just realizing that just really passionate about, pushing. And also it's kind of scary because I knew that, painting was like the ticket into fine arts, like the fine art world, but I genuinely did not know how to paint. So yeah,
Very interesting, man. So you wanted to get down the fine arts path.
yeah.
What does that mean exactly? What's the difference between like fine arts and just like any other type of art?
With like illustration, you often do works for like magazines, book covers,
Right?
that realm, right? And then with fine arts, it's treated as its own like entity of work. So I think it's like a separate. That's where like the most distinctive line.
Right. Is that more like the galleries and stuff like that?
Yeah, pretty much like a gallery setting versus commercial items your art being put on.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, very cool. And when I went to your show, which I want to hear about, I got that fine art feel, man. I got that.
Really?
Yeah, because the work was so good, but also even the vibe. Like, I like how you had it very quiet in there. Like, it was a real legit gallery feel. And that was really fucking cool to me, for me to experience, because I just saw the gallery on the street, hopped in. I'm like, man, this is a vibe in here. So good for you for doing that, man.
Thank you.
That was your first ever solo show?
That was my first show outside of OCAD. Yeah.
First show outside of OCAD, man. Good for you. How did you feel about that?
It's great. It's a lot of work setting up. Genuinely, like a lot of work, like a whole year planning, and just to see it pay off is it's great.
Was that something you were looking to do for a while?
Not a while. I'll say the end of first year to like second year, I was planning to do,
Okay.
but yeah, it's about matter of like finding the capital power to do it, and then
Right, because you
once
got
I
to
got it,
pay for the space,
yeah,
transport the items.
yeah,
Your paintings are fucking massive.
pretty huge. And the
The
materials themselves too, yeah, the
materials
canvases.
themselves, exactly, man. So you had that on your horizon, get the money up, and then do it when you're ready.
Yeah, pretty much I got like a grant, and that's how like I managed to pay for it. It's not really out of my own pocket, right?
Even
Just,
better.
yeah, it's even better.
Good for you, man. And with the show, I know you called it the opera.
Yeah.
What was the inspiration behind that?
I was looking to create something theatrical, about bringing the idea of a stage, right? Because within my first year, my body of work, like subconsciously, it's about me being very dislocated, like lost,
Okay.
not like knowing where I am or where my platform is. And then with like second year and then into this year, to be able to create that own like stage for myself, I think like that's what the opera represents, like a place to present my ideas, stuff.
Very cool,
Yeah.
man. I think a lot of people would relate to what you said earlier there of like kind of lost, not knowing my place. What do you think helped you kind of get past that a little bit with the opera pieces?
It's a great question. Um, it's hard. It's like little by little, every day, it's about knowing yourself really before doing the works. That's what I
Right.
realized. Yeah. Truly knowing what you like, what you want from yourself, and then working to like fulfill those goals or needs that you want. And then
Very
from
rel
there on, your works will reflect that. Yeah.
I like that a lot. Me and Nino were talking about that before the interview today, actually, where it's
Really.
like you gotta do something that you want to do. It can't be based on the trends or what everyone else is doing or what they want you to do. It's got to be from you, or else you'll never have that inner satisfaction.
Yeah, and it's also a sense of direction in your works too. I find, a lot of students at OCAD, I find it's like it's hard for them to find like not a style, but like a direction of where they want to go with their works. And fortunately enough for me, I was able to find that, and then that lifted a lot of like uncertainty
Right.
about like my futures going forward. So
Right. You're kind of getting in your groove,
yeah,
learning who you are, what you like. Do you feel that the theme, so with the opera, like it had, first of all, we talked about it before too. My favorite piece was, how do you pronounce it? Imperial?
the Empyreans.
Empyreans. It was
Yeah.
this big ass, like dragon looking thing, big yellow dragon. And your work kind of had that kind of a feel to it. Do you feel like that's something you're gonna build on, or was that I'm done? We did it at the opera. Time to go somewhere else.
I think no, it's just gotta keep going. Like that piece, I think that was no, not the first piece, but like the first large size piece I worked for the show.
Okay.
Yeah, and just a lot of ambitions going to it. I wouldn't say it turned out like 100% how I wanted it to be, but being able to overcome that fear of like a 4 by 8 foot painting. Yeah, I think now you get to like once you got that high, you just gotta keep going.
Yeah, you've done it already. Now you know you can do it. Now you can keep pushing yourself,
Yeah.
trying new stuff. And for anyone like an 8 foot, 8 feet tall, or was 8 feet wide?
If you wide,
Fucking massive.
it's pretty
It
big.
was pretty big, man, and it was a very like eye grasping piece. Like when I walked in there, that was the first thing I noticed. I'm like, that is some cool shit. It reminded me of like I don't know if you ever watched Rush Hour, but the like the Chinese designs with the dragons and stuff. That's what it reminded me of. I don't know if that's what it's supposed to
Yeah.
be like, but it definitely that's where I went with it. Was that kind of an influence?
Yeah. So the opera, I definitely like did a lot of research and inspiration from both like like a Western context of operas and also like an Asian, like Eastern context.
Right.
Yeah. Like Chinese operas and also like works by Puccini, for example. It's like two different sides of the planet, right? But they both have, this idea of theater and music and also like the visuals of it. It's great. It's interesting to me.
And it all came together in that piece.
I try to.
Try to. I love that.
Yeah.
Are you influenced by opera and stuff like that too?
Yeah, not like on a day-to-day basis, but in the sense of what, like when I did research on like stage design, theater, stuff like that, like operas just stood out to me with like the music and visual being cohesive. It's great.
Very cool, man. I like how you kind of made your own definition of the opera with your gallery there. That's
Yeah.
very, very cool. Because looking at it from outside, it's like I don't really opera like I associate opera with like a fat lady singing, you know? Your pieces were completely different. So it's kind of cool you created your own little definition for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people, there's a lot of misconceptions about operas being, like separate. Well, not separate. I'm trying to find a word. It's difficult. It's like more elite,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, sitting on the
art
balcony.
form. Yeah, right. And then a lot of people, regular people wouldn't think of operas as like their form of entertainment,
Right.
like go-to media. And I feel like that's the same issue with like art, like the gallery art system versus it's like scrolling through social media, stuff like that. And so in a way the opera represents like my own ticket into the room, right?
Very interesting, man. I never would have thought about that. I like that a lot. And I definitely feel what you mean about the art gallery because it's like one of those things where, oh, why would you go to an art gallery? Or it's like it kind of like got that, like you said, a high end tone to it. Meanwhile, an art gallery is such a cool experience because it could be someone like yourself, a young artist finding their way, showing people their work for the first time could be a great opportunity for networking, meeting cool people. I love going to art galleries, man. I
I
think
love
it's
it
one of the
too.
best things.
Yeah. It's great. Like once you know about it and like you have the confidence to go in, it's great. But I don't know if you don't know about it, if you don't know what's going on the scene, it's very daunting.
Exactly. You already have your thoughts about it beforehand, and it's always a good thing to try it. Put yourself out there. You never know.
Yeah.
You had family come through, friends come through. How was that? How was it having the people come see your work, come just for you?
It's amazing. Wow, I don't know. Some unbelievable feelings. I drank a bit that night too, so
Of course, man. Hey, it's a party. It
it
was
was
a
a
party,
party.
and it was a
Yeah.
Saturday, I think, right?
The opening night, no. Opening was a Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah. Like unfortunately you missed it, but
Next
it's
one.
fine. It's fine.
That was not your last gallery. I can guarantee you that.
Uh, catch the next one,
Catch the
we
next
drink
one.
together, yeah.
Yes, exactly, man.
But yeah, just inviting people, seeing them come, seeing them like the works that you put in, it's unbelievable feeling
Yeah, it is, man, because it's like you love what you do, but it is nice to share it with
to share.
people
Yeah,
and also for them to take time out of your day. It's not easy to get people to physically go somewhere. You know, we all want to stay at home. For
yeah,
them to actually take time out of their day, come see
to
your
show up.
work, that's
Yeah,
sick. And it shows
yeah.
I think you're on the right track.
Thank you.
My pleasure, man. I always enjoy it. Part of the reason I wanted to do this interview with you was, A, your art is fucking awesome, but also I love to see like young people take chances on themselves, bet on themselves, try to anything, throw their own show, all
Yeah,
that stuff. So definitely want to give you a platform to kind of talk about that.
thank you.
My pleasure, man.
Yeah, yeah. It was scary betting on yourself, right? But like that's like the one thing that will pay off, in life. Like you just have to bet on yourself.
You're absolutely right, bro. It's a worthwhile risk because even if it maybe doesn't turn out the way you want it to, you still learn so much from it. Valuable experience. Probably had a lot of fun too.
Yeah, it's a lot of experience. I think yeah, that's the most important thing about just being in the student stage of your art career. Just you get to learn, right? You get to fail and then stuff like that, and then with the show, like let's say it failed. Like so what? I just learned to where to get the grant, how to book a gallery, how to set up, how to install pieces, how to work in that scale over a year with school, part-time work, just balancing. Yeah, just experience, the most valuable thing.
Very well said, man. That might be a clip
I might,
because you're absolutely right, man. I think just looking at like a result is kind of silly.
yeah,
Like, oh, if it doesn't achieve this much money or viewers or this, that, it's a failure. No, man, that's not how it works. There's so many things that go into it. And I love how you said, like, oh, I learned how to get a grant. I learned how to do this. Because then your next time, you're going to be that much further ahead and you're going to keep learning and keep getting better.
yeah, you gain a lot of confidence, after doing that too. And yeah, like me in my first year, I would have never imagined like me doing this, honestly. Or like even hop on, a mic in front of a camera, like talk about it. I've never got, the self-esteem to do it, but after, a whole year and a whole summer, it's changed.
Good
It's
for you,
great.
man. I love to hear that because there's no reason to ever limit yourself.
Yeah,
Keep growing, keep challenging yourself. The person you are. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 20.
Holy fuck, man. 20, I bet like 2 years from now, 5 years from now, you'll look back on now and be like, wow, I've learned so much. That's the cool shit. You
Yeah,
just keep growing, keep learning.
thank you.
20, holy man, the sky's the limit for you, bro.
Is that young?
You know what? Age is just a number at the end of the day. But when I see your potential, I see, wow, you got a
Oh,
lot of good
thank
stuff
you.
in your future, man. The art that I've seen from you, I picture it in like a museum gallery. Like I think you have that in you, man. And if you want to do other things too, sky's the limit. I've seen that you did like a little newspaper. It was called The Punk Within, I think, right?
Yeah,
And even that, I'm like, that's completely different style to your most recent stuff. And to be able to do that and have your own signature look on both, man, pretty impressive.
thank you. That like video, I don't know if you saw the video. That was filmed here in this room.
Okay, The
Yeah.
Punk Within.
Yeah.
What was that all about?
That, funny enough, nothing crazy. It's just like me wanting to do, like a little design magazine.
Okay.
Yeah, in my first year, I had a lot of time on my hands, so I thought, let's try some things out. Yeah.
And it's cool to see that growth from that project to your most recent project. They look completely different, but it's still got your kind of signatures with it, which is really cool, man.
Thank you.
Were you a punk kid? Like, are you into that type of world?
I don't know. It's weird. I'm into I'm into a lot of world like stuffs. I find it weird. I like classical music, and then I can also just stop that playlist or that song and go to like an, like a techno one.
And it's reflected in your work, man. That's a
I
good
think
thing.
yeah. I think
Versatility.
yeah, I think that's the one thing I do have, like that ability to shift myself,
Yeah.
shifting narratives,
Yep. Adapt.
100% adapt. Yeah, I just like enjoy a lot of things that aren't correlating, but I find there's a common beauty or just enjoyment in them, right?
Yeah, it's all you. It
Yeah.
could look different, but it's all you. Love that, man. That's a very big skill because not easy to do. I see, like I just took in right now the punk to the opera. Like that's cool that you're able to do both and everything in between. It's very interesting, man. Are you someone that looks to other painters or other artists for inspiration? Are you someone that has to go live your life and travel and have adventure? That's how I get my inspiration. What's your kind of
It's my inspiration.
yeah,
I mean, I definitely look at a lot of painters, like it's my go-to when it comes to like art, but in terms of like motivation to paint, just music, honestly. Maybe that's why reflected into opera, like it's that unity between like music and like a visual art form.
right?
Yeah.
Very interesting, man. And that's why I love talking to artists because you never know where that inspiration is going to come from.
Yeah.
That see these big paintings that came from music. Like that's so cool to me.
Yeah.
Do you play music?
Kind of played a piano.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool, man. I again, like I ask these questions because I feel like all these things are intertwined. It's
Hello.
very,
Yeah.
very rare that I only care about painting, nothing else.
No.
It's
Impossible.
like
Yeah.
it's impossible. There's so many cool things, so many interesting inspirations out there.
Yeah, a lot of people I talk to at OCAD too, right? It's really not just painting, People like music, people love to read, philosophy even. Just as that, right? Like people don't rarely find inspiration by like looking at works. You can get like a visual inspiration, like I kind of want to do that, I want to try this, but then like to like want to do the works has to be within you, you know.
Right. You got to feel it.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. And I also did some background on your other paintings as well. Like you had a pretty cool, I guess, a phase of art where it was people kind of in the street. Like you had, I remember a lady walking by somewhere. I forget how you titled it. Someone smoking a cigarette. Like you had some pretty cool pieces.
Yeah.
And I'm like, even that looked like a specific like Benji era of work, just that street kind of
Yeah.
everyday passerby look.
That was like my first year or two. I did a lot of street photography. I don't do a lot anymore because I don't have time, unfortunately. But yeah, that first year, photography and stuff, like street photography, I talked about how my first year while figuring out like where I am, right? And then street photography, positioned me in a city that I'm not often like here actually, like being at OCAD, like downtown Toronto. That was pretty new for me.
Right.
Yeah. And so the
Downtown is a whole
works.
other energy.
No, it is.
Like,
Because I lived in like I lived in North York for a while and then like York near Etobicoke.
yep.
Yeah, and then I'm like I was never, like downtown consistently until
And those are great. Anyone that knows Toronto knows, like, those are great places. Like, Etobicoke is an awesome place, but it's different than downtown. Downtown
it's way
just has a energy that you can only find downtown. The people, and like the kind of, even like the stress in the air, it's like, it's a very much big city thing.
yeah.
So when I saw your street, like it was photography and then you painted based off them, or was it just
Some of
photography?
them,
Yeah,
some of them, yeah.
I felt that kind of like I thought you captured the street quite well. It's
Yeah,
like, who is this person? What are they all about? They got a whole life,
they do.
but they're just a passerby for us right now. So
You see
again,
them for
man,
1 second, probably never again in your life, and they're probably doing something just caught your eye.
exactly,
Funny.
exactly, man. I thought you did that really well. So man, I want to ask you, like, you've already accomplished a lot of shit. You've had your own gallery. You've painted quite a few things. What are your goals? What do you want to do with your talents? Very
Right
tough
now,
question.
that was a tough question. I mean, right now, I keep my goals pretty like near term. Just finishing third year, surviving. Also, like fourth year, definitely want to do something for that. For like GradX, have you been?
No. What is
No?
that?
Every year it's like a graduate exhibition.
Okay.
Yeah, and then every like fourth year like graduating student just like shows at work.
Oh, I definitely got to come to that. When's the next one?
Usually in May,
That
like
makes
mid of
sense.
May.
When
Yeah,
school's over.
school's over.
So I just fucking missed it. Damn. But that's
You might
sick.
miss it. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, just work on that, and beyond that, more schooling.
Okay.
Definitely want to do like a master's. Not like because you need the knowledge or anything, but if you go to like a school like master's degree with the right people, you're gonna find a lot of like connections.
It's a
That
good,
yeah,
smart man. Building that network is a huge thing.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, hopefully exhibit more too along the way.
Let's
So
get some grants to Benji, man. We need more. Need more
more,
galleries, more exhibits. Let's get it.
definitely gonna be applying. Yeah.
Love that, man. Good for you. Is there anything that in like being an art student that you like or dislike more than others?
In comparison to what?
Just like something that you like going to an art school. Do you ever feel like maybe there's like a competitive vibe or like a
It's the opposite. It's like there's so little competitive vibes, that sometimes it's demotivating.
interesting? What do you
Yeah.
mean by that?
I don't know, you go to a critique. I don't know if you've ever been one, but nobody gives good critiques. Rarely, sometimes the people they will give like the most genuine. But then other than that, like it's just you. You have to be your own hardest critique, right? Critic. That's the word. But then other than that, yeah, it's very dilly dally. Earlier.
I like that you sometimes it's nice just tell me what you think. Tell me what, don't bullshit me.
I'm not bullshitting, yeah.
We had this exact conversation prior to the interview. That's so crazy, man. These
Yeah.
topics are very relatable for a lot of
They
people.
are. I mean, I'm not saying like you have to have competition in our school. Like that's never a good thing, but I think that, people should push each other to like strive for greater works, right?
I like that. You hear that a lot in sports too, where it's like if
Yeah.
that person is a great player, you're gonna wanna
You're gonna want to be just like as good as them, or
exactly step your game up a bit.
yeah,
And also, I like your point about like sometimes it's nice to hear someone else's honest feedback because you might view your stuff how you view it.
yeah,
You might not even think about another perspective out there. So to actually get that feedback, criticism, whatever you want to call it, sometimes it's definitely great.
especially when you're learning too. Yeah, I feel like my first and second year here, yeah, I definitely missed a lot of that. It's not finding enough or like even the right amount of like feedback in my works. So that was hard.
I'm just curious on this the like the critiques,
Yeah.
is it from like fellow peers or is it from teachers?
Technically, teachers should give you some critique, but like they just shy away from it now.
Interesting.
It's like, yeah, it's like the etiquette now. You're not allowed to comment certain things, otherwise the students are gonna cry, type of thing.
That's
Like I
so
don't
funny.
care, me
Exactly.
personally, I don't know.
That's such a like and the world that's like kind of how the world is now where it's
It's
like
pretty
I'm
soft.
afraid yeah like
Yeah.
I don't want to offend you or be mean to you but also how the fuck are you gonna learn if
I think that's dangerous too, right? Like
it
if you're
is
not if you're
dangerous?
not confident to face critique, in like a class setting, how are you gonna face it on in the real world, right? Where people are, if they don't like your work, they're not gonna look at it. They're not gonna give you, scholarships, grants, shows. It's unfortunate, but.
You're absolutely right, man. And school would be the perfect time to learn about how to take, give, and receive feedback because you're in a learning setting. Like the
Yeah.
whole point is to learn and be a student. So why not learn how to handle criticism now? That's a really good point. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
That's part of being an artist too, right? It's obviously the actual work you do, but there's a whole business behind it, a whole other aspect behind it.
It's basically a business degree masked by like, paintings and like drawings.
Yeah,
No,
a
I'm not
nicer
kidding.
business degree
It's like, yeah, a
aesthetically.
nicer aesthetically, but the real world, it's a business, unfortunately.
Even with your gallery, like you probably learned quite a bit from the business side on that one experience, no?
Yeah, it's managing a lot of things at once. Like I did everything by myself, pretty much. So like monetarily, it was just like renting, booking space,
Right.
but also like, preparing like the curation of like where to place the paintings, what to do, how am I gonna host the guests, business cards, like
Yep.
media materials for them to take and stuff like that. And like the most important thing is like what are you gonna do when people approach you to talk about art and like potentially wanting to buy it, Yeah.
Those are all those things where unless you've thrown your own show, you probably wouldn't think about it. But until you do that, you realize, wow, everything is a choice that I have to make. What are the drinks? What are this?
There's
What are
ways.
that? Like everything is up to you. I think that's a great experience and a lesson on like responsibility, professionalism. That's
Yeah.
awesome, man.
It's definitely a lot of professionalism you have to show, you know. Yeah, it's the most important.
Yeah, because you're an artist, but you're representing your work. You're representing yourself. You are truly a salesman
Yeah.
for your work.
Yeah. Like I think of it as like, you're pitching to others like your idea or invention. Like your art is like an extension of like your mind, pretty much. Like your ideas, you know. And someone wants to like show your works in a gallery setting, like they have to think about that pitch, right? Like that idea and then the long term, it's like what's the word? Value
Right.
of your ideas.
Yeah, man, you got to be your biggest agent almost, your biggest
Yeah.
supporter of your own stuff.
Yeah.
Because no one else is going to ride for you as hard as you would for yourself. So
100%.
that's great lessons, bro. I love that. We're about a half hour into the interview. I was curious to see, like, what are your next steps? Do you have any styles that you're working on right now? Anything you even want to promote for yourself? The floor is yours, man.
I'm not really promote. So right now I'm just working like trying with oil. I haven't done oil a lot in the past, so
Okay.
like it's like maybe stepping away from acrylic and then trying like oil paints. It's been fun.
That's awesome, man. Because also that again hits me as someone who's not really in like a painter or anything like that. There's so many options. Like, oh, I could switch materials and that'll look completely different and have this completely different vibe. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. And any other galleries planned? Any you don't have to give too much away if it's not ready, but
No, literally I don't have anything I
love
don't have
that.
anything planned after like that 1 year. It's been way too much work, so I don't know, just focus on school right now and then
Stay in the moment.
yeah.
Good for you, bro. I love that. I really, really fuck with what you're doing.
Thank you.
I'm gonna post some links to your website and your Instagram. What's the Instagram best place to find you at?
Benji Art, BENJII Art on Instagram.
Love it. Oh, also you're killing it on Instagram, by the way. I saw you got
Thank
like
you.
20,000 followers, which means this kid is a fucking star. Not that the
I'm
numbers matter,
alright.
but
Yeah.
I think real recognize real.
Okay. Thank you.
I love that, man. And yeah, follow Benji, Versatile Vigilante, like, comment, subscribe. We're gonna go check out some painting. Check out your studio.
Yeah.
Let's get it, man. Shout out to Los Nino in the back. Let's get it, man.